man, right? So why the complete man? It could be something else as well, right? And why that brand has chosen that line, why that brand keeps it since long.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Say Something with Mads. Every week we have a youth, a Gen Z, a change maker from across the globe who comes on this platform and shares their opinion, views, and perspectives about what is close to their heart, what are they doing, what is happening in their life. This is the channel for everyone. Welcome today. We have Ananya Sinha. Let's welcome her. Ananya, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you? And thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Ananya. She is joining me from Noida. She will introduce herself, and we have a lot to talk about today. I have been following her on LinkedIn, and you will see why she is here on the show as the talk progresses. But first of all, I asked Ananya to introduce herself a little bit about her background. Where is she from? What about her schooling? What about her college? And a little bit about family also. So over to you, Ananya. And what does your name mean, Ananya?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I would say that I'll answer later on. So let's start with where I belong from and my childhood. Yeah, I hail from Champaran, Bihar. Studied in a quite fair school, private school, wherein I did my schooling till 10th in my village only. Post 10th for my secondary education, I went to the city. I completed my 12th education. I scored 90 plus percentage and then entered into Delhi University. Completed my graduation with economics. In that college time only, I was quite interested in communication, networking, and handling content over social media. And this interest grew as the pandemic hit all of us. We didn't have anything to do apart from using our mobile phones, scrolling through each and everything, right? So content and networking was something which came to my mind. So I joined a society, served as a vice president, and then handled different social media channels for the society. Post that, it became something that I really wanted to do. But at that point of time, I didn't start with LinkedIn or any sort of other things, though I was aware about how this thing is going to be in the future. But the point was, it was not quite easily manageable considering the college activities, the societies, or the assignments, and everything around it. I think in November 2022, I properly started LinkedIn. So now I'm the founder of a marketing agency, which is this YSquare Marketing. Apart from that, working as a research analyst in one of the firms in Noida. So it's simply that an economics graduate had a lot of interest in communication, marketing, networking, and talking with people. And that eventually led her over the LinkedIn. And then the journey started. Yeah. Talking about my childhood, so it was not so fancy kind of stuff, though my parents never let me down in any terms. But it was, since I belong from a middle class family, so it was something like eating daily. I'll just mention one instance. Eating, dry fruits daily was a big thing at that point of time when I was a child,
Yes,
right?
I agree. I agree. For all of us,
True.
it was the most
Exactly.
costliest thing to get walnut on gin gin
Yeah,
ke milte the sabko.
exactly. Walnut, cashews, other things are though easily available, but these things were quite expensive and something considered as gold, if I would say,
Yes,
right?
absolutely agree.
And the best part about me right now, I mean, me handling my agency and my work at office, the best part that I feel right now. So one day, I think after I got some salary and some clients over LinkedIn, so what I did, I just bought some of the dry fruits, a packet of dry fruits, and I sent it over to my mom. And when she
Oh,
saw that, she had legit tears in her eyes that okay, there was a time when we were not able to manage a lot of stuff to give them daily,
yes.
and now she's sending it over to me, and she had a lot of tears in her eyes, and that was the priceless moment when I heard about this, that okay, she's loving it. So the idea is to fulfill all the desire and demands, not only the needs and want needs, but it's about fulfill their desire demand, though they do not write or convey it to me. But the idea is to fulfill all those stuff which are still not visible or still not done. So yeah, that's
Wow,
pretty much about
wow.
the journey.
Now I know why you are on LinkedIn. You're a top storyteller voice. You began with such a beautiful story that we all got hooked on, because we all have gone through this um, dry fruit fascination. Like you said it so beautifully that when you said it back, I am in Dubai and ample dry fruits available here. But when I have this badam 4 in the morning, I feel, oh my God, कितने कितने गिन गिन के कितने साल पहले. So when I come go from here, it's like, okay, it's a feast. सब लेके जाओ जिस जिसको. वैसे अब किसी को उतनी जरूरत नहीं है, और अब किसी को उतना नीड भी नहीं है, बट हम you are doing it at this age. I am now at this age, still I go and give this dry foods. It's such a beautiful hook
It's
you created.
beautiful.
Tell me, ask you something. Why people like you, young girls, do all many of the young girls from small towns in Bihar look forward to go to Delhi? For what? Do you think that Delhi is the place for change or college? Why not in any? Why not Mumbai? Why not Kolkata? I see many girls, young girls from Bihar coming to Delhi to study. What is the fascination? Why, and why did you choose Delhi?
Okay, so I'll start with a lot of girls coming to Delhi. So Mumbai is eliminated at first stage because it's quite far from Bihar. If we look
Okay.
at the time taken to reach there, right? The second thing, it's a bit costly, and
Okay.
it has a lot of more stuff apart from the studying or other purposes, right? So
Ah,
people
right.
usually, that middle class thinking, and that's somehow true or not true. We won't go on that level, but people usually think that okay, if we are sending our daughters to Mumbai, that's film city, sapno
Okay.
ki sahara, thing around it. So there might
Ah,
be something around it, right? So Mumbai is eliminated. Delhi is
okay.
something where our parents or maybe the relatives have come in the past as well, right? So a lot of people are working in Delhi. If you go
Ah,
to any second or third home in Bihar, so people will be like, okay, my brother or my cousin or my maternal uncle, anyone lives in Delhi, right, or works around Delhi. So Delhi is something
okay.
which takes around 17 to 18 hours to travel.
Ah,
There
okay.
are two trains, straight trains, right? So it's convenient. And in terms of study, why I chose Delhi? Because Delhi University, it was a craze when I was in standard 12th, right? So there was a huge craze about Delhi University. It's something that'll, make or break you. So there was a
Hmm.
craze that okay, if you score 90 plus, you're gonna get Delhi University, right?
Wow, now I understand. Yesterday, I was interviewing a young girl from Karnal, Haryana, and there a lot of she got into LSR, and she said that my life's dream was to study in Delhi University. I can understand this when you said that. Yeah, lovely. Now, tell me, another question that comes to my mind is that you are a natural storyteller. So, when you were in school or when you were in college, you used to write or you used to speak? Where did you get this flair for writing in English?
If Okay, so writing in English, I think comes genetically because my I'll call the Bade Papa, right?
Okay.
So he's an English teacher, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll call it something which has, come in my genes only. Talking about writing by myself. So I was not quite avid writer since my childhood, but I was someone who was always called out for speaking a lot, right?
Okay.
That okay,
Mm,
Ananya speaks a lot. Be
mm,
little less because you're speaking a lot. And I think that has helped me. People were
mm,
calling me out that okay, that thinking that okay, girls do not speak a lot, right?
mm,
I was
mm,
someone who was speaking a lot. In my college, I started writing because I loved reading a few books. As I mentioned, I do not read a lot more books, but few books. And then I started writing for my society. Started writing for assignments and everything around it. People appreciated it, and then I understood how the digital era is going to be in future.
mm,
Talking about storytelling, so that has come naturally because I was someone who used to hear a lot of stories from my grandparents, so
mm.
that has been in subconscious mind.
That's a beautiful thing, Nananya. I have something to learn from you. We have so many incidents in our life, right? And everything can be connected to a story. If you tell this, people get people are closer to you if you share your own story. But at the right moment, in the right time, the right story should strike you. So that's a challenge sometimes. Okay, what is it you have to correct? But you beautifully started it. Now, I wanted to ask you something about. Um, you said you wanted to wait till you get a job to be on LinkedIn, right? Because it's a notion that, okay, only working class people, people who have jobs, people who are in corporates are in LinkedIn. Now the myth is broken. More and more young people are in LinkedIn, right? And this also opens up so much opportunity for young girls like you who want to create a niche for marketing on LinkedIn. So tell me your journey. Like, how did you say that you started with brand analysis, right? You said you started with
Yes.
how certain ad works, and that got a lot of eyeballs for you. So, what were the first things you wrote on LinkedIn, and how did it progress to what you are now?
Okay. So yeah, there is a myth. I mean, people usually think that you need to have something to start on LinkedIn. But my sole reason was that I need to have a security and then I'll start exploration, right? Because if you are the elder one in your family, so you have that some kind of, unsaid responsibilities. And I found
Yes.
that, right? So I just thought when I get a job which will give me security, I'll start my explorations, right? Because then that job will fulfill all the needs, wants, and
Yeah.
desire, everything, whatever we call it, right? So I started on LinkedIn. I started writing with whatever came to my mind. I started with what I felt while, traveling on a road, how the trees taught me a few lessons, right? What people were talking on the road, how they were actually giving reactions, these kind of stuff. Eventually, I thought, okay, I'm more interested in advertising. I used to see the billboards over roads, right? And then I used to
Okay.
write about those billboards. Yeah, why that billboard is placed there only. Because we see different kind of billboards on highways compared to a normal roads, right? So that marketing kind of stuff, that passion came around me. And then I
Did you
started
study? Did you study about all this in your economics class or in somewhere? No.
it was something
Okay.
that came naturally. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
used to
Hmm.
I used to hear some of the YouTube videos around marketing, and then I started reading billboards that why actually if there is some word, for example, we know a line attached to the brand Raymond's, the complete man, right? So why the complete man? It could be something else as well, right? And why that brand has chosen that line? Why that brand keeps it since long? So I
Hmm.
started writing about how an ad is working for a company. Dove started a
Okay.
campaign. Yeah, Dove
Okay.
started a campaign around the skin color, right? And it worked pretty
Yes.
well for the company. So I started analyzing why that ad worked and in which scenario that ad was released. So it was a time when people were actually, bashed a lot, or the dark color women were bashed a lot around their face color, around the way their hair was, the texture of the hair, the texture of the face. And in that phase, Dove released that campaign. Right. So it stuck to people's mind. Okay, this is what which is happening with us, and we need to
Hmm.
stand for this. So
Hmm.
I just analyzed a lot of brand strategies. I started writing about this. I always wanted to go into, marketing, LinkedIn building. But my point was, if I won't build it for myself, how would I build it for others? Right.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
started building it for me first. I started with then 4 to 5, 6,000 followers, and then I made a
Yeah, you said that.
quick shift into branding and helping people to grow their brand on LinkedIn. But marketing has been something which is always with me, and I usually talk and write about it. Okay, I think one question that I missed, you asked about the meaning of my name, that I
Okay, me.
missed probably in this question. Yes. So Ananya is a kind of synonym for the goddess Parvati, as the Google
Okay.
says, right? And it means something which is unique, which is different.
Ananya, if you have to write a book on yourself at this stage of your life, what would be the title of the book?
Okay, that's a question. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, think about it. Think you can give it few seconds. Just what comes to your mind right now?
The untold story of a storyteller, probably.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. Right. Okay. So, do you plan to write something? Because since you are a writer, prolific
There are a
writer, do
lot
you
of
plan to write
plans,
a book?
right? There are a lot of plans. I have probably made a few notes about myself only. Maybe in future I'll try it out.
Great. Tell me the job work you are doing. You said that since you are the elder of the family, eldest of the family, you had to shoulder the responsibility. Earning was very important. And that's, of course, for a middle class family, that's a big ask. Like, when am I getting the job? What is the education? After the education, the first thing is there is no luxury of देखते हैं जॉब मिलेगा तो करें नहीं तो अपना कुछ पैशन फॉलो करते हैं the first thing is to get a job and then the passion, right? Now that you've got a job and you think that you also mentioned that you joined a job and you left it in a day, but
Yes.
yes, but do you think that kind of work which you are doing, yeah, probably you are kind of it's aligns to your work which you like doing, kind of marketing, which is your passion. Is the current job aligned to that?
Not completely, but that current job is with me. I'll tell you the simple and straight reason that job is with me because I want to scale this part of my life, right? The
Mm.
marketing and everything around LinkedIn. So
So you're
I want
tolerating
to
the job
leave.
because job will give you the money which comes to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, this is also giving me, but there's some things that you have to manage and something around these things, right? So it's
Some
about,
expectations are there. Mm.
yeah, some expectations are there, and that coming from a middle class family, we do understand that, right? And it's not
Right.
bad to say that okay, we do
Of
have, and
course,
that's good to have, obviously,
of course,
considering.
and
So
also
that job is something. Mhm.
you have already started your own business. You said online marketing business. You see yourself in 10 years down the line, completely shifting and making it big as a marketing agency or
Yes,
something like that. Is that your dream?
yes, yes. I think that would be quite, in a few years only, right? 10 years down the lane, it will be completely settled. A stage wherein I won't be putting in, 10, 12 hours a day. I'll be having
Mhm.
a huge team wherein the team will be handling, the work will be divided. It won't be like if Ananya is sitting 14 hours a day today, so she'll be sitting 14, 15 years down the line, right?
Correct.
So it's about reducing the time that I'm investing right here and incorporate that time with my family. So that's
Mm,
the dream.
right.
Talking about the job, so that's not something that I tolerate, but something which is, yeah, that's something related to content. So I kind of enjoy that as well. But it's not that
Okay.
I'll be taking that forever.
Okay. Now, do you cook? Do you cook or
Yes. Since I live alone, I do cook.
okay?
I
So
cook
what
with
is
my breakfast to the dinner.
really? So what is that
Yeah.
one dish which you have or Bihari cuisine which you cook or which you learn from your mom and you think that is carried on and I think that's something which connects me to home.
Okay. See, there are a lot of dish if you talk about Bihari cuisine, right? So the famous and I'll say the simplest is the rice, dal, and there's aloo ka bhujia.
Chokha, chokha.
That's the normal word, right? Chokha and bhujia. That's
Mm.
something that I love to eat. The simplest, but it takes a bit more time. And since
Mm.
I usually run out of time, so there is something called dal pitti. If you have heard about it, right?
Okay,
So it's
okay.
made from wheat flour, and
Mm.
dal is added to it. You make different, small balls or maybe straight lines of the wheat. You just mix the wheat, and then suppose you mix the wheat for chapati, and then
Okay.
you make quick
We
balls or straight, yeah, you just
huh,
elongate that, and then
huh.
you fry that up, you mix that with dal, you cook
Okay.
it, you give that a good tadka, and that tastes really amazing. So these are the
Oh,
food that I, in term
what's
if
it
you talk
called
about,
again? What's
it's
it
called
called
dal
again?
pitti. Dal
Dal
pitti. You can
pitti.
try it. Yes,
Yeah.
and it tastes amazing.
Right, I must read. There are so many simple things. Why I asked you is, I often am very interested when the girls or the boys, for that matter, when they stay alone. how do they connect food to their emotions? Like, what do they do what kind of food remind them of home when they get homesick? So everyone has their go-to food, so that always helps. Food is something which comforts us, right?
That's true.
Ananya, if there's a something which hypothetical question, think it over and let me know. If you have to take three people out for dinner, okay, and you have a choice of taking anybody, but you have not met those people. Three people, you have never met them. Whom will be on your table or for dinner, and where will you take them?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Okay, so these three people have to be someone I have never met, right?
Yes, yes. Maybe from history, current, anywhere of the any part of the world, anybody. Your choice. Who would those three be?
Okay. For that matter, if we talk about the current situation, I'll ask one person from the cricket industry, and that's for sure Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli.
Not because
Okay.
of his looks and everything around it, but because of the determination and the patience that he
Yeah,
has,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
The
Hmm.
person, the person has, has actually faced the maximum number of love and maximum trolls, right? Still, that person is doing amazing at his work. So he's
Hmm.
someone I would definitely ask out for. Second one, I think I would ask Shushmita Sen for sure. I'll tell you
Okay.
the reason.
Great choice.
The kind
Great
of
choice.
boldness, the kind of boldness that comes with her is just amazing. The way she speaks out, the way she, puts out things. That's
Hmm.
really amazing. The way she always stands for the good things, right? She
Hmm.
stands for the uh, she stands against discrimination, against patriarchal society. She talks about the real thing, and that's something that I would like to share.
Hmm.
And third, I
Absolutely.
would say, okay,
Anybody from politics? Bihar,
not
you are in Delhi and you're from Bihar. Politics must be in all around you.
politics is the nerves of Bihari people, but I'm not quite fond of that, I would say. But I think S. Shankar is someone who
Yes,
speaks quite good and
he is
who is
universal favorite.
good.
A-
Yes,
All young people want to meet him. Imagine the fan following as Shankar has.
exactly. I can say
Really,
him the universe favorite, the favorite of the whole universe. He's someone people
absolutely.
look at, the way he speaks, the way he actually put his thoughts. That's
Yeah.
something which is amazing and which
And
keeps us connected with him.
and he's not even a regular politician. He is a foreign, he's an IFS, right? And then that
Exactly.
too without any
About it.
intimidation from the biggest politicians will give how well he
Yes,
puts his and India first. Yeah, that's
exactly.
amazing. Right. Um, Ananya, if I have to ask you, that you are writing regularly on LinkedIn and you are making a brand and you have also started your own marketing company. If somebody is starting on LinkedIn, I have read your LinkedIn post and I want people to read your LinkedIn post, my listeners who are listening, because you have given some amazing tips to the start and what are the things you should be looking at to engage people. But if I have to ask you on this interview, three to four top things which you should do if you are beginning on writing on a LinkedIn, what would those top tips be?
Okay, so the first thing is do not care about what people say to you at the first stage, right? Because 90 out of 100 people are there to, put you down, pull you down. So it's
Hmm.
about having a clear mindset that write whatever comes to your mind, considering that should not harm people, right? That should not go against the community guidelines. The second thing is start writing online as fast as possible and as soon as possible because it's something which does not harm you and eventually it helps to grow. The third thing is do not write, do not write and post 7 to 8 times in a week, right? Because in 1 week you can do 7 times. In the next week, you'll feel burnt out and you'll be like, no, I can't do it anymore. So I'll just write 1 to 2 times, right? So it's better. stick to writing daily, but posting only on few days. For example, 4 to 5 days a week max. That one should start with. Write daily, because writing daily is something which helps you to get better at. Right? Read
Right.
a
That's
few.
an mm,
Yeah, read a few books. Do not start with a lot of books. People
mm,
love to read, non-fiction, considering the motivation it gives. If I talk about the motivation, self-help books, but I always suggest people to read fiction, because if you want to be good at stories, right, if you want to be good at, the flow and structure, you need to understand how it's actually written, because self-help book do not give you that structure or flow. It talks to you
mm,
about how to improvise yourself, how to improvise your habits, but it doesn't talk about how to improvise the voice that you're putting in. And for that
mm,
matter, you need to read fiction, you need to understand fiction. And the
mm.
fourth point is always support people. Do not have that mindset of, competing with others. Do not compare your journey with someone who is at his or her 100 or 200 days, because someone's first can't be compared with someone's 10th or 100th. So it's
Mm.
about collaboration rather than competition.
Beautifully put. I think you have had the best tips you can give to anybody, and it was on your fingertip. So quickly you made it. But one takeaway, and also what I also want to add one thing is that try finding a niche. It's a very, very important thing. People are all over. I found it very difficult to find because you are interested. I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in world affairs. I'm interested in youth. I'm interested in sustainability. I'm interested in neuroscience, so all over the place, you put different posts every day and you don't know where it is going. So you have to, right? Am I right? I want to hear your opinion on this.
You are right. It's important to eventually understand what's your arena, right? Because what happens, but people are understanding it in a wrong way. People are thinking that before starting up, they need to be clear about their niche, and this is not
Let's
practically
find out
possible.
first. Huh? They can
Yeah,
write and see what works.
fine. Exactly. So they have to start with it. A generalist at start is good, right? Because eventually you want to be interested in writing about, for example, if you start writing on LinkedIn, one day you are talking about neuroscience, the second day youth, third day politics. So after 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks or a month, you'll be bored with 4 topics. You would be like, okay, no, let's just stick to two only, right? So
Hmm.
eventually you find your way. So it's about, for me, and I always tell people to execute before planning a lot. People are stuck to plans, a lot more stuck that those plans actually get cancelled, right? So it's about execution. Execute and you'll find the process, you'll find the way. That's something
And
that one has to.
yes, and one of the best tips I take away from you is that write daily, even if you're not posting, so that you don't have to think the pressure is not on you that tomorrow I have to post, today I have to write something. So maybe some posts you don't want to post, some things you write, which I never do, but it makes a lot of sense that tomorrow I have to post. Today I have some work and still I'm struggling to, my thought process is not there aligned. If you have a bank of posts, sometimes it helps, right? So do you do that?
Exactly.
Do you do
I
that
do do
regularly?
that. Absolutely, I do that. I write usually, probably I write daily. Something or the other thing that might not be the LinkedIn post always, but something I write for myself. Sometimes I'm writing, sending a good note to a friend or someone close to me, right? So that habit should be there with me,
Right,
right?
right. Do you
Apart
write
from that,
digitally or you write with
I love
on paper?
writing on with pen, right? I do have 3, 4 notebooks around me. So I write the format over a notebook and then I write it over my laptop. So
Right, that's
pen,
true.
yeah,
Pen and paper is something which the words just flow when you have a pen and paper in hand.
exactly.
It doesn't
That's
flow as
something.
much as when you're
Mhm. Yes,
writing.
yes. That is true. I think if you are someone who was born in 20s or maybe end of 90s, so those, those children won't get over notebook and pens, because we didn't have tabs and iPads to write or write digitally. So notebook and pen is something which is stick to heart. So that's something which
Right.
won't go anywhere.
Right. That's something which you are saying, the young generation is saying, that stay notebook and pen is, I think, rare. Many people have forgotten to use a pen and pencil on a paper for a longest period of time. Everything, their hand moves faster on the laptop than on the pen. So
Yes.
that that's something I struggle with a lot, because I still am a pen and paper. I send questions to my interviewees with pen and paper, and people say, we can't read your handwriting. I said, you try. My handwriting is bad, but I will not send you digitally. I cannot send you email questions. That's become very
Emotions flow in a
emotionless.
better way when you're writing. Exactly. Emotions flow
Emotion.
better when you're writing on a notebook.
See, yeah. And also when I'm writing for Ananya, I want my writing, my feelings to reach her. I think that can be pen and paper. So, Ananya, I've got some
Exactly.
amazing tips and amazing insights into what you are doing and how you are going ahead. What are your thoughts behind LinkedIn? And it's really, really very clear. So, I think people will benefit from your pointers. Now, I want to give you an opportunity or option to ask me a question. So, what would that question be?
Okay, so since I've seen your interviews, you have interviewed around 70 plus people out there for your
Yes,
this
young
channel,
people,
right?
young people.
70
Only
plus
you,
young people.
15 to
Only you.
25. Yes.
That's an achievement, I would say, because interviewing people from that generation wherein you do not belong to, right? You are someone elder than them, and then
Yes.
listening to them patiently, asking them questions which are relevant. That's something which is really interesting, and I truly respect you for that. So the question that I would ask, what's the two similar things, the commonalities that you have found in those 70 people who are talking to you? Because
Oh,
you hail from a different
yes.
generation, right? And
Yes,
we are totally
absolutely.
from the same generation. So
Yeah,
what's the
yeah.
similarity you have found in us, all of 70 plus people? And what are your
Okay.
one suggestion that you'll give to us?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic question. Because the question is it's so clear. I would have the answer just like this, because I always think about this question, that what is common in the 70. The common thing which I think it's to my advantage, it works very well, is just like you said, what's the harm in doing an interview? People are not close-minded anymore. Anywhere there's an opportunity, young people want to grab it. You never know where what comes. So young people are not thinking so much like in our generation. Oh, who kaun hai kuch, if it is something I am
Exactly.
getting out of it, only then I will do. That's amazing. To your generation, there is no asking for what is there ahead. You are doing it right now. Yes, I'm available. So that's a wonderful quality, and I learned from it. You never say no to anything, unless of course you are not able to do it for some reason, for something. Who knows what comes out of it? Who knows what
That's
relation I build with Ananya and Ananya has with me? So they never say no. And one advice, if I have to give to anybody, where I don't think any advice works for that matter, which I tell, or I'm also a relationship coach, because I did the relationship coaching, just because there's so many people ask me questions about, ma'am, I am into this problem of managing relationship with my boyfriend or my girlfriend, or my parents, maybe with my friends, maybe. So this is one issue people are still struggling with, and I think that there is a time for everything, to take a stock, sit down, talk to people, because that is something which I find, uh, though people don't say explicitly, but there are issues deep down which needs to be opened up, and I think they need to talk more about this. Everything is not hunky dory in life, so just talk.
absolutely true. I
Right.
think most happy looking couple or happy looking family has the most issues, I would say, that's still
Absolutely.
unheard and undiscussed, and that should not be there. People should be opening up about their issues and actually discussing and solving it rather than having it in their head and heart. So
It
that's
hurts.
really
Neuroscience says that these things will be there internally in your body forever. either you talk or you write, but talking to a stranger is best because they are going to be non-judgmental, right? If you are
Yes.
talking to somebody whom you know, maybe you don't want to open up, but like people, like if you don't know and if you feel somebody is listening, just open up. Yeah. Yes, I think we have covered everything, but I would like to have a book suggestion from you, or any podcast, any movie which has impacted you, you can think of. Are you a movie buff? Did you like movies?
I do like, I mean, I do watch Bollywood movies. As I mentioned, I've grown up in a family, right? In a family from Bihar, right? So
Ah,
television was there once,
big time.
I think in third, fourth class, right? So television was something, there were no mobile phones and something like this. We used to watch television. We were given a chance on weekends to watch movies, right?
Yes.
So movies are something I always feel connected to. But
Yeah. Any
books I
favorite,
can recommend.
any favorite book? Ananya, also I would like to ask, do you sing? Do you sing?
No, I do not.
Okay. Otherwise,
Why
I
is
wouldn't have
that?
asked. If you can sing a few lines of your favorite song to end with.
Oh my God. I have a
Okay.
terrible voice, I would say,
But let's say
right?
the book recommendation first, and we'll end
Okay.
with a song
The
if you
book,
want.
the book I can say how to develop your self confidence and communicate with people. It's by Dale Carnegie. This book is something
Yes.
which actually helps you to understand how you talk with people, how you can influence people with your words. Because as
Mm,
of now, people who are in corporates or business or in startups, everyone needs to have that power to, put their thoughts out.
mm, mm,
They need to understand how to share their thoughts. They need to understand how to influence the person they are talking with.
mm,
Doesn't matter if you're an startup founder, if you're working in a company, because if you're working in a company, you have your seniors, you have your bosses, you need to, convey your thoughts to them. So it's important to understand how a swift communication flows. So this book
mm.
is something which actually helps.
Close to you. Okay, Ananya, I will ask you just one more question to end. What makes Ananya happy, truly happy, deep down, not happy, happy, upar upar se, aaj happy, kal dukhi. Like something which is a constant state, if you'll give you happiness, what would that be? What would you be doing? Or what makes you
Okay.
happy?
Not one thing. It's a collection of few things that I'll mention right here.
Okay.
When I am at my hometown,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
not in the city, but in my village, because that
Okay.
vibe is something which is, greenery all around, the pure natural air, the
Right.
good food that my mom cooks, nothing from outside or not some fancy stuff. It's, as I mentioned, some simple food, chawal, dal, and aloo ka chokha or something, dal pitti, anything, the simplest food. So, food, the closest of my friends, right? I have quite a few friends. I'm not someone who has a lot of friends, but the ones who are quite close to me, just a few talk a chat with them. My family, my whole family, my home and food. So these are the combination that actually makes me happy. So now people can think, okay, so Ananya loves family, food, and friends. What about the work that she mentioned she's passionate about? So work is something I always love doing, right? People can ask, I'm telling you, people of this generation are like, okay, she said this. Let me ask this question because she didn't mention about the work. So it's about work is something that I always enjoy because without work, I can't enjoy the rest things. And that's quite clear.
Right, right, right. But yeah, but when you said that people think that work doesn't make you happy, it's perfectly fine. Work is sometimes not giving that happiness which your family might
No,
give, or roaming around in
exactly.
your village or in a green. We all look for happiness, not necessarily in the workplace. That's absolutely fine.
Exactly.
That's absolutely fine. Sometimes it's just to pick up a good book and read is the happiest thing you can do when nobody is around,
Exactly.
right?
Sometimes it's
Right.
about mood because sometimes when I'm here, I can't go back my home and enjoy my happy place. So it's not that
Yes.
I'm not happy here. If I'll just take a walk around, right? I'll just walk in the park or I'll do a little bit, physical exercise, so a little bit of yoga. I'll talk to some of my best of friends, right? I'll talk with that person that, okay, hey, how are you doing? How is everything going on? I'll rant about my things for 2 or 3 minutes, right? It'll immediately cheer up my mood. A simple, video calls with those who are close to me, or some of my
Absolutely.
friends, my siblings, or a
Even
simple walk
even
to someone around.
correct. And even browsing through old photographs gives you so much happiness of the
Yes,
place.
that's something which reminds of all the
Yes.
memories. Nostalgia hits a lot. Sometimes
Absolutely.
even, Google browsing. I found
Yeah.
some pictures one day that, okay,
And
how the days were. Yes, how the days
yeah.
were before COVID. We used to, how the days were in our generation. I'll consider yours as well,
Yeah.
because you must have lived a life without, mobile phones, with TVs, with your
Yeah.
family. But right now we see, children busy with their mobiles, not with their
Yeah.
family, parents, not playing the
Absolutely.
games actually, but they are, quite indoor. So that is something that feels not nostalgic, that, okay, we used to eat these things in our
Yeah.
childhood, play this
Absolutely.
game.
And also how we always are so critical about how we look now when we look back and we see, oh, we used to look so beautiful then, and why are we cribbing now? So we always say, कभी कभी हम अपना, ओ हम यहाँ पतले थे, यहाँ मोटे थे, हम यहाँ थे, वहां थे, और जब हम पहले देखते हैं हम, like we feel that, oh, we were looking so pure, beautiful, simple, and we
Yes,
change. People change. So the
that
change
happens.
is beautiful. There is no judgment. Why am I looking like this and why I was looking that? So
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Fantastic talking to you. So with that, is there any parting line before we close, which you want to say to our young audience? If you have, your core area is LinkedIn optimization and marketing, if you want to close with that, or your personal philosophy, or anything you want to, your closing statement. Over to you.
See, what I believe in is create your own story and do not replicate what other people are doing, right? Because
Okay.
if you replicate, you'll be lost in their stories and you won't be able to create your own. So I see
Right.
on LinkedIn a lot of people are replicating the top creators, and they are getting a fair number of engagement and impressions. But see, what will happen down the line after 1 year, 6 months, or 1 year? People won't remember you for you. They'll see,
Mm,
okay, because that top creator is being seen by everyone around the platform, right? So they'll remember, okay, XYZ replicates that person, and he or she writes in the same way. So you have to create your own identity. So it's
mm,
not only through what you speak or what you put out in a line, but it's about what you share daily. So share your thoughts, put your thoughts down on the platform, and create your own story. Do not get lost in the herd. That's something that I
absolutely.
believe, and I think people should give it a thought. I won't say that, okay, blindly follow this, but give it a thought, and you'll understand what's behind this.
Right. Right, with this, we come to the end of this beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Ananya, for being here on my channel, Say Something with Mads. And I request people, week after week, we have such wonderful conversations. If you are listening to these conversations, please subscribe to my channel. That's very important for a channel to grow, and especially a channel which has talk about youth. So they are the future. So you will get to hear some riveting conversations. So please subscribe to my channel. And as before I end every day, I say we have only one earth. So do your bit from your end to make your life sustainable. Maybe close the tap while you're brushing, or use less of coffee mugs when you're going out on a coffee date somewhere. Just use your small things, yeah, will make a lot of difference. And I think that's the only line takeaway which I end my show with. Thank you so much, Ananya, and thank you all for listening. See you again next week with another new panelist. Bye bye.